shall be discussing about future value of money. Then we shall be time value of money. In this video, we shall be discussing about simple interest, compound interest. Then we shall be discussing about future value of money. Then we shall be discussing about future value of annuities, and then future value of annuities due, right? So these are the things that we would be discussing in this video. Now, what is time value of money? If I ask you a simple question that if you have 2000 rupees, what would be the value of those 2000 rupees after 1 year? Now, there can be two views to that. One can be that if you put that 2000 rupees into a locker, that will remain as 2000. It will not increase over a period of time. But if you put that in the bank at an interest rate of 10%, then those 2000 rupees after 1 year would become 2200, right? So when we say that 2000 would become 2200 after 1 year at 10% rate of interest, how do we calculate this? This is a very simple calculation, and I assume that everybody knows how to calculate this, but in case you do not know, let me do this simple calculation for you. Principal is always the starting amount. Here it is rupees 2000. Amount after 1 year is principal plus interest. Interest would be calculated as 10% of 2000, that is 200. So amount after 1 year would be 2000 plus 200, that is equal to 2200. A very simple calculation. Now how do we calculate that? What would be the amount after 2 years if the starting amount is 2000 and the bank rate is 10%? So here again the principal is the starting amount. Here it is 2000. Amount after 2 years would be principal plus interest. Interest in first year is calculated as 10% of 2000, that is 200. Interest in second year is calculated as 10% of 2000, again that is 200. So the total amount after 2 years would be 2000 plus 200 plus 200, that is 2400. Now what we calculated just now is a simple interest. By simple interest we mean that each year the interest would be calculated on the same principle, or in other words, the interest each year would be equal. We have already seen how to calculate the simple interest. Now let's see how can we calculate the compound interest. First, try to understand what compound interest means. Compound interest basically means that the interest earned in a particular period would become part of principal during the subsequent period, and in the next period the interest would be charged on the total amount, that is principal plus interest. So what does it mean is that the interest earned in the first year would be added to the principal during the second year, and during the second year the interest would be calculated as 10% of principal plus interest charged in the first year. Let's try to understand this with an example. So here interest charged in the first year would be 10% of 2000, that is 200. Interest charged in the second year would be 10% of 2000 plus 200 equal to 220. Now this is very important point to understand. Why do we have taken an additional factor of 200 here? This is because as per the definition of compound interest, in the second year the interest would be calculated on principal plus the interest charged in the first year, that is 200. So the interest charged in the second year would be 10% of 2000 plus 200, which is equal to 220. So the total interest would be 200 plus 220 equal to 420. So the total amount after 2 years would be 2000 plus 420 equal to 2420. Another important point to note here is that if we calculate the total value using compound interest, it will always be greater than the value calculated using simple interest. Now what do we mean by compounding frequency? In the last question, we made an assumption that the interest calculated after first year will be added to the principal. This is called annual compounding. By annual compounding, we mean that compounding is done each year, that is interest calculated after 1 year would be added to the principal. What if the interest accumulated after 6 months is added to the principal? Well, if we do such a kind of compounding where after 6 months the interest calculated is added to the principal, that would be an example of semi-annual compounding. So what are various types of compounding frequencies. If compounding is done each year, then the number of times compounding is done in a year would be 1, and such a compounding would be called annual or yearly compounding. On the other hand, if compounding is done after every 6 months, then the number of times compounding is done in a year would be 2, and the compounding frequency would be semi-annual compounding. Similarly, if compounding is done after every 3 months, number of times compounding done in a year would be 4, and such a compounding would be called quarterly compounding. And on the same lines, if compounding is done after each month, the number of times compounding done is 12, and it would be a monthly compounding. Now let's try to understand semi-annual compounding with an example. Now, if you want to calculate that what would be the total amount after 2 years if you invest 2000 today, the rate of interest in the bank is 10% and the compounding is semi-annual. The interest charge for the first 6 months would be 5% of 2000, which is 100. Now, why we have taken 5% here and not 10%? Because 10% is the rate of interest for the whole 12 months. But here we are calculating the interest charged for the first 6 months, that is half a year, and hence rate of interest would also become half, that is 5%. Interest charged from 6 months to 1 year would be 5% of 2000 plus 100. 2000 is the initial principal and 100 is the interest charge for the first 6 months, and it would be 5% of 2100, which would become 105. Then the interest charge from 1 year, that is 12 months to 18 months, would be 5% of 2000 plus interest charged in the previous time periods, which are 100 and 105, and the value would come out to be 110.25. Similarly, the interest charge from 18 months to 2 years would be 5% of 2000 plus 100 plus 105 plus 110.25, and the value would come out to be 115.76. So the total interest would be 100 plus 105 plus 110.25 plus 115.76, and the value would come out to be 431.01. So the total amount after 2 years would become 2000 plus 431.01, and the sum would be 2431.01. So 2000 would become 2431.01 at 10% rate of interest compounded semi-annually. The important point to note here is that when we calculated the amount after 2 years assuming annual compounding, the answer came out to be 2420. But here when we considered or assumed semi-annual compounding, the answer came out to be 2431. So just take this as a rule that whenever compounding is done semi-annual, you will accumulate more money than what you would have done with annual compounding. Suppose you want to calculate the value of 2000 after 5 years if the rate of interest in the bank is 10% and the compounding is semi-annual. Considering the semi-annual compounding, you have to calculate the interest charged in 10 time periods, that is from 0 to 6 months, then from 6 to 12 months, then from 12 to 18 months, and you will have to keep doing this until you calculate till the 60th month or till 5 years. So overall you have to do 10 calculations, which would become very tedious. So what do we do? Is there an easy way to calculate this? Yes. So there is a compound interest formula which will help you to calculate the amount after n years, and you will not be required to do any tedious calculations. The formula is here: P into 1 plus R by M raised to the power M into N. Here P is the principal, that is the starting amount, R is the annual rate of interest, N is the number of years, and M is the number of times compounding per year, right? So let's try to use the formula which we just discussed to calculate the amount after 5 years if the initial investment is 2000. So the amount at the end of 5 years can be calculated using this formula. P would be 2000, which is the initial principal. R would be 10%, which is the rate of interest. M equal to 2, which is semi-annual compounding. And N equal to total duration, that is 5 years. So putting the values in the formula, amount at the end of 5 years, it is 2000, which is initial principal, 1 plus R, that is 0.1, which is your rate of interest, divided by M, which is 2 raised to the power M into N, which is
M is 2 and N is your 5 because it is 5 years, right? Which becomes 2000 into 1 plus 0.05. If you divide zero point 0.1 by 2, it becomes 0.05 raised to the power 2 into 5, that is 10. If you solve this, you get 3257.78. So this is the answer. That amount at the end of 5 years would be 3257.78.
Now let's do a concept check. Ram, Sham and Lakshman are three friends. Ram invested 1000 for 3 years at 10% simple interest rate. Sham invested 1000 for 3 years at 10% rate compounded annually. Lakshman invested 1000 for 3 years at 10% interest rate compounded semi-annually. Now the question is, arrange these three friends in decreasing order of interest received by them after 3 years. So this question is very simple in a way, since Lakshman has invested 1000 for 3 years at 10% rate of interest but compounded semi-annually, so he will get the maximum interest. Because when you do semi-annual compounding, you get more interest than the annual compounding. Second is Sham, who has invested 1000 for 3 years at 10% rate compounded annually, would get more interest than Sham, who is just getting simple interest. So the order shall be highest to Lakshman, then to Sham, and then to Ram. And we have to arrange them in decreasing order. So our order shall be Lakshman, Sham, followed by Ram. So the answer will be A. Now, what is future value of money? Future value of money is nothing but it's the same value that we have calculated in the previous slide using compounding formula. So if I tell you that what would be the value of 2000 after 5 years at certain interest rate, then you can calculate the same using the formula which we discussed during the compounding discussion. That is, future value at the end of 5 years can be calculated using the formula P into 1 plus R by M raised to the power M into N. Now let's try to do a simple example for future value of money. Suppose at the time of your birth, that is 25 years ago, your father deposited 12,000 in an account at an annual interest rate of 15%. How much money would exist in that account today, assuming annual compounding? So basically the duration is 25 years and the principal deposited is 1200 and the annual interest rate is 15%. So let's try to do this. So basically you want to find out the value of 1200 after 25 years at an interest rate of 15%. So the future value, we can use the formula P into 1 plus R by M raised to the power M into N. P here would be 1200, R would be 15%, M equal to 1 because it is an annual compounding, N equal to 25 years. So the amount at the end of 25 years would be 1200 into 1 plus 0.15 raised to the power 25. So your answer would come out to be 39502.74. You can do this using a calculator and then you can match the value you are getting with this value. Hopefully you will get the same value, right? Let us understand what annuities are and how can we calculate their future values. Till now we have assumed that we make certain investment only once and then we calculate its future value after a certain number of years. But what if you make investment each year for a certain number of years? So here you are making an investment of $1,000 each year for the next 5 years and you want to calculate the future value of all these investments. Before we try to understand how can we calculate the future value, let's try to understand what these kind of investments are called. Such cash flows where you make investments or you make the same amount of investment at the end of each year for a certain number of years are called annuities. The important point to note here is that investments need to be made at the end of each year, not at the start of each year. You will better understand this difference when we understand what are annuities due, where the investment is made at the start of the year, not at the end of the year. So how do we calculate the future value of annuities? So here the case being shown on your screen is an example of an annuity. This is an annuity where rupees 1000 invested at the end of each year and the rate of interest is 5%, compounding is annual and the duration is 5 years. So basically you are investing rupees 1000 at the end of each year for 5 years. You can calculate the future value by calculating the future value of all these investments independently. So first you calculate the future value of rupees 1000 invested at the end of first year. Then you calculate the future value of rupees 1000 invested at the end of second year. Like that you keep on doing till you calculate the future value of rupees 1000 invested at the end of fifth year. But this would become a very tedious process. So an annuity which is having a duration of 20 years, you would be required to do 20 calculations. That would make it very difficult and very tedious and very annoying. So what do? We actually have a formula to calculate the future value of annuities. The formula is here on your screen. The formula is C into 1 plus I raised to the power n minus 1 divided by I. C here is the cash flow per period or the investment done during each period. I is the interest rate and n is the number of payments or the number of periods. Now let's try to solve this problem using this formula. Right. So here, if we take this annuity as an example, your C would be 1000. That is, you are investing 1000 at the end of each period. I is equal to 5% because your rate of interest is 5%, and N is equal to 5 because the total number of investments or the total number of payments are 5. So if you put these values in the formula, you get future value of annuity as 1000 into 1 plus 0.05. This 0.05 is basically interest rate raised to the power 5, which is n, minus 1 divided by 0.05, which is again I. And when you solve this, you will get an answer 5525.6. And this answer exactly matches with the answer which we got by independently calculating the future value of all these investments. Now let us try to understand what is annuity due and how can we calculate the future value of annuity due. We have already discussed what is annuity. Annuity is something in which same amount of investment is done at the end of each period for a certain number of years. On the other hand, annuity due is something in which investment, that is the same investment, is done at the start of each year for a certain number of years. So the difference between annuity due and annuity is that in annuity due, the investments are done at the start of each year, but in annuity, the investments are done at the end of each year. So such a cash flows where same amount of cash is invested each year and at the start of each year are called annuity due. So how do we calculate the future value of annuity due? So this is an example of annuity due where rupees 1000 are invested at the start of each year. So here the rate of interest is 5% and the duration is 5 years. So we can obviously solve it by a tedious way where we calculate the future value of each of these investments independently and then we sum it up like the way we did in annuity example. So the answer here would come out to be 5801.92. But this is a very tedious way because if the annuity duration is 20 to 25 years, you have to do 25 calculations, which will make it very complex. Now let's see how can we solve this in a smart way. So here is the formula for calculating the future value of annuity due. The formula is 1 plus R into P into 1 plus R raised to the power n minus 1 divided by R. P is the periodic payment here, R is the rate per period, N is the number of periods or the number of payments. Now this formula is almost similar to the formula which was used to find the future value of annuities. P is similar to C, that is the cash flow per period. R is similar to I, which is the rate of interest, and N is number of periods or number of payments anyways, which was present in future value of annuity formula. The only difference is that future value of annuity due has an extra component of 1 by R. So if you remember the formula for future value of annuity, you can just multiply that by 1 plus R and you will get the formula for future value of annuity due. Let's try to understand this with an example of an annuity due. Suppose the annuity due is such that you are going to invest 1000 for next 5 years.
right? And the rate of interest at which you are investing is 5%, right? So here your P, that is initial principal, becomes 1000, R, that is rate of interest, is 5%, and N, for which the period for which the amount is being invested is 5 years. If you put these values in this formula which we just discussed, you will get this type of equation where future value of annuity due would be 1 plus R, that is 1 plus 0.05, because R is 5%, into 1000 is your initial principal, into 1 plus R raised to the power n, that is 1 plus 0.05, which is your R raised to the power n, which is 5, minus 1, here it is minus 1, divided by, right, this internal part only, 1 plus 0.05 raised to the power 5 minus 1, only this internal part, divided by 0.05, because here it is being divided by R, right? So this becomes your equation, and when you solve this, you will get 5801.92. So that should be your answer. You can solve this, and you can match your answer with the value on your screen, that is 5801.92.
Now let's do a concept check. Ram and Shyam are two friends. They have properties which they have taken on rent. Ram gives the rent at the start of each month, whereas Shyam gives the rent at the end of each month. If both gives the same rent each month for next 5 years, then whose future value of rents would be more? Assume rate of interest to be 10% for both. So here actually they are giving rent each month for next 5 years, and the rent being given by them is same. The only difference is that Ram gives the rent at the start of each month, whereas Shyam gives the rent at the end of each month. So Ram's payments are basically an example of annuity due, whereas Shyam's payment are basically an example of annuity. Now the question is, whose future value of payments or rents would be more? Now since Ram's payments are an example of annuity due, and annuity due always has an extra component of 1 plus R in the formula, so the value calculated using annuity due formula would always be more. So in this case, the future value of the rents given by Ram would be more, and hence the answer would be A, that is Ram.